Welcome to another video. This one is about pumping and pushing. My name is Ivo, I'm the owner of This Is All Skate Shop. I'm doing this series about aggressive inline skating. Aggressive inline skating is of course normally on aggressive inline skates, but in this video we're not gonna grind. We're just gonna deal with the transitions in the skate park, which are the quarter pipes and the half pipes, things that go from straight to curved. There's a transition there, and that's why it's called a transition. We're gonna start at the beginning, assuming you're like a complete beginner, and then we're gonna build it up to show you some safe ways to get started. But I think also for advanced skaters later on, I got some tips and tricks for you to make your push even better. Well, we are here at the Zeeburger Eiland skate park in Amsterdam. This is one of the biggest skate parks in Amsterdam. It's from concrete, and there's some nice pool corners here. But you can use any skate park, any quarter pipe. If you're starting out with pushing, actually the bigger the quarter pipe or the half pipe is, the better. You can kind of look at it like a friendly giant. People are often intimidated by really big half pipes, but you really have to look at a half pipe from the bottom. So I'm standing here on the ground instead of on the bottom of the half pipe. You should see this as the ground level, and then the walls just go up. That's how you should look at the half pipe. And then if there's a vert like this one, the ground goes up really gradually, really slowly. And then if you have like a small quarter pipe, usually the ground, so the transition goes up really quickly. And this is more like those small dogs that bark a lot. They're not so nice. And also pumping, they're also not so nice. So that's why you want to start at the biggest quarter pipe that you can find. Also, then you don't have to deal with the coping at all, because we're not going to get up there anytime soon, probably, if you're going to start out with this. This tutorial is for people who can already skate a little bit. I'm assuming that you can skate backwards here. If you cannot skate backwards yet, we have an entire video about that. Please look at it and learn to skate backwards properly. And I don't mean just to skate backwards, I mean actually like properly, with your foot in front of each other, shoulder twisted like this, looking behind you like that. This is the proper position to skate backwards in. Also, if you cannot do backwards riding perfectly yet, the pushing movement is actually a perfect combination exercise, because we go up forward and we go down backwards. And often I see with beginners is that they are as good at pushing, or like they can do it at the certain speed that they can do it, limited by their capability of riding backwards. Be sure to be really good at riding backwards when you start this. So what stance to take? Your foot should be next to each other a little bit, maybe in front of each other a little bit, but definitely not entirely like this when you ride forward. When you ride backwards, your foot should be like this. So forward it's like this, backwards it's like this. The reason why you shouldn't have your foot forward like this when you ride forward is because we want to also be able to go to the ground easily. And with your foot in a scissor position, you cannot bend anymore. So there's no way to get deeper down to the ground when you're in a scissor. You need to get down like this for your falling technique. So either like the mermaid or the rock star. And you also need it because when you push, you want to start low and then go up. For the rock star technique, I'm wearing knee pads just to show you. Normally I'm not wearing knee pads, but the rock star is definitely the main falling technique that you're going to use when you're starting to push. Actually, let's just dive right into it right now, and I'll show you probably the first thing that's going to happen if you've never tried this. So I see every beginner always that goes up, they fall. So you just take some low speed like this, and then whoop, boom. So just prepare that this is going to happen. Wear your knee pads and let yourself fall. Don't try to stop it. As soon as you feel that you're gonna fall, it's always best to just mission abort. You want to be the person who falls like when something happens and is slowly like occurring to be wrong. You want to fall 10 out of 10 times. Maybe if you're the person that's gonna save itself like 9 out of 10 times, you're gonna fall extra hard those 1 out of 10 times. So don't try to save yourself. The alternative is to tap dance. So to go like this, up, and then tap dance, and maybe you'll be fine out of 10 times, but one of those 10 times you're gonna tap dance and fall harder. So don't do that. Just let yourself fall and practice this falling technique. It's actually quite fun because you can just go up and then boom, let yourself fall like this. We have a whole tutorial on the falling technique on our YouTube, so check it out. This is part of a complete series about aggressive skating. We make a new video every week, of course. So if you like videos like this, subscribe to the channel. When you skate in the skate park, you should never skate, meaning lift up your foot, over this line. This is the line indicating where the flat ground starts to move into being a transition and into the quarter pipe. This is such a hard rule that you actually want to be well prepared. So I would say as a basic rule, you should at slow speeds have 1 meter before that line. You should already be prepared. And at higher speeds, it should be 2 meters. So now I'm just going to be low speed. So I want to be prepared in the skating position, and then we just go backwards. All right. So this is of course the first thing you want to just explore, kind of like just a little bit, go up and down, don't go too high. And then once you can do this, you're ready to start pushing. And we're going to do this first using the hands. The rule is with the hands is when you go up, you move your hands up. But for your hands to go up, they first need to go in the back. So when you approach, I want to see you have your hands in your back like this. And then as soon as you cross the line, you start swinging. And then the highest point with your hands is going to be your highest point. Like right now, my highest point was here. But if I would have gone faster, my highest point would have been there. And my arms would have met its highest point over there. All right, I'll show you a fast one. Boom. And then you also saw what happened when I skated back. My hands also dropped. So this is a really easy rule. It's the first step into pushing is when you go up, your hands go up. And when you go down, your hands go down. If you do it properly, you can then feel a little bit of a boost. You can feel that swinging your arms will make you a little bit lighter. It will make you go a little bit faster. Pulling your hands down when you go back, it will make you a little bit heavier and will make you go a little bit faster down. Just do like, I don't know, like infinite repetitions in this. Find like a half pipe where you can just like go back and forth, back and forth. You should just like, this should be therapy to you, okay? You should just spend a day swinging your arms and really feeling the timing, because the timing is crucial right now. If you're not getting the timing, you cannot really progress to the next step. So now I have 2 water bottles. I don't know how many liters this is. Probably like 1 liters, not too much. But having these weights in your hand will make you feel the push even better. So this is a little trick that you can use. You have to be really prepared. So have your hands in the back. And when you hit this spot, you want to already be swinging your arms. So don't start swinging here, but you have to already have started there. And then if you go to the back, it's actually the same thing, but then flipped. So Newton, physics, doesn't care if you're skating forward or backwards. So it's exactly the same, but you start with your hands forward and then swing to the back like this. So that means that in the middle of the half pipe, you have to switch positions. So I'll show you this little, so switch, up, down, switch, up. And then you'll notice that the harder you swing your arms, the faster you'll go and the higher you'll go. And yeah, this is basically going to be your therapy for the next day, hopefully, month, week, year. Wow, it's nice. Going higher and higher already. Once you master the hands, we can now move on to the legs. Yeah, like I said, it's all about physics. This is mass times distance moved. That's the formula for this. So the more mass you move over a bigger distance, the more speed you're going to get. And of course, the biggest part of mass you have is your complete body. You can do the most when pushing if you push from your ankles. So you can like push from your back as well. I would not advise that. But if you push from your ankles, my upper body is staying a little bit still. And I'm just like mostly moving my ankles and my knees back and forth like this. This is moving a lot of mass because it's moving the entire mass of my body, which is pretty big. That together with the arms, that's going to be the trick, okay? There's an extra layer of complication, and that's why we needed to start with the hands to get you into the right rhythm. Because every time you swing your arms in the transition, you need to stretch. So you need to stretch when you push your arms up, and you need to stretch when you push your arms down. So this is starting to be really complicated. So we're going to break it down, and we're just going to stretch when we go up, because that's the easiest thing. When we approach the quarter pipe, we want to be low now. This is the next step. Arms to the back and low. And then when we go up, we stretch. So prepare and stretch. Okay, and now I'm just gonna let it go, okay? So I'm not doing anything on the return because it's complicated. Just do this. This is gonna be your new therapy. Just push when you go up, all right? I'm gonna do it a couple of times. Push when you go up. And now I'm gonna let it go. And again, in the back, up and let it go. Up. And I'm gonna let it go. Up, let it go. Don't forget to prepare. Be there already before the line. You have to be ready. Okay, so in the middle, I need to get down and then up. I really shouldn't jump to the next step before you really get this. And you should put in like at least like an hour just doing this, okay? So once you've done that, we're gonna try to push also when you ride backwards. And it's actually extra complicated. I'm gonna try to simulate it. Prepare, arms to the back, low, and we ride up and we stretch. So now we're at this point and now we're gonna go back and we need to stretch again. But to stretch again, we need to be small again. So we ride up, we stretch, now we're high. We need to get down, and then because we're down now, we can stretch again, up. So then it will look like this, up, down, up, down, up. And now I'm starting to get some serious speed. Ah! Boom, okay. Because now I did the technique properly and you see me blasting off, okay? If you're doing it correctly, you're gonna get speed. Just sit on the coping, slide down or something. Don't drop in if you cannot do it yet. And then start at the bottom again, okay? The rhythm is the most difficult thing. And it's difficult that it's so quick. That's why you want to have a really big quarter pipe to start with, because it all goes really quickly. Stretch, down, stretch. It's so complicated. Let's do it again. Stretch, down, stretch. And my hands stay in the air when I'm getting down. Stretch, down, stretch. And then it's the same when you go back. But then the arms are the opposite. So you start down, stretch, down, stretch. If you can do it standing still, it's probably you're already better also doing it in the quarter pipe. So practice standing still a little bit. It's easier if you go a little bit faster. You just have to figure it out from this point. Now you know the tools, you have what it takes. And now I'm gonna show you these same tools in different parts of the skate park. All right, so now we're getting into the smaller quarter pipes. And it's the same as bigger quarter pipes, except they're sharper. So you have to do the technique more quicker. That also means that like in a vert, maybe you get down all the way like this and your arms are like all the way like this and you go like, whoa, you push like that. But here you don't have time for that. So it's way more like a quick push. And there's one more big difference is that there's a coping. That's this thing. And it sticks out a little bit here. And I remember when I first had to learn how to push and everything, that I was really scared for the coping. Because what if your foot like touches the coping, you go up and it touches. But it turns out you're just fine and you have like more wheels. You can actually ride over it like this. As long as you stay in the quarter pipe, there's no problem. One tip is just to lean on your back foot a little bit. So if you have your foot like this, lean on your back foot and then it doesn't really matter that much. And also make yourself strong so that when you hit it, you don't trip over it, but you just stay solid. So make all your muscles strong and tense. Well, you always have to do this while skating. Your whole upper, like lower body should be strong, and then you can deal with the impact way better. When you're weak and you hit it, you will trip. Okay, I'll show you how to push in the quarter pipe here. I have to go really slowly. That was it. It's a really quick one. So this is a bank. A bank is flat in a straight line and a quarter pipe has a transition. So there's a big difference. You can only push in a transition, but if you look closely, you'll find the tiniest quarter pipe in the whole skate park is right here. This is the tiniest quarter pipe. Again, it starts at the line and then here there's not a real line where it ends, but this is actually a quarter pipe because you cannot push here. Nothing happens, it's just straight, okay? It's just the same if you push there, it's the same as if you push here. There's nothing will happen. But here you can push, but it's so short and brief that it has to be really explosive. And before, in the vert and in the quarter pipes, you could like really go down, have your hands in the back and then swing like this. Here it needs to be done in like a 1/10 of a second. Make some fists, have your hands here and then just your knees over your toes and just boom, just do this. That's it, boom. Tense up your muscles in your arm, like be like powerful, okay? Not like this, but like a real quick and brief push. It's almost like the beginning of a jump, but you're not jumping. I'll show you how to do it. So I want to be low to start with and then boom. If you do it properly, you'll notice that you gain speed. All right, well, this should be your new therapy. Practice it thousands of times. The next step, I just want to hint to you, because this stretches only like a little bit. If you find a nice bank, you can extend a little bit even more on the end. So here you push, boom, and then if you reach here, you can jump. And jumping is just like stretching your toes a little bit and then just overextending that little bit of extra knee bend that you have and then just stretching that, having your arms a little bit more up. If you look at the entire movement later, what I'm going to show you is here is a small push, stop, and then overextend. So it's like hush, hush, 2 movements, but 1 movement. I'll show you. Yeah, well, that's pushing on the bank. Now let's move on to pull corners. This is gonna be fun. All right, now we're gonna get into carving, pull corners. Now is where it's really gonna get interesting. And again, this has a lot to do with physics, because physics doesn't really care if the ground goes relatively to you up and that you are actually going up or that you are going down, because the push when I drop in is the same push when I then go up the next quarter pipe. It's the same movement. So it's again the same movement if the quarter pipe goes into this transition. So we can just look at this pull corner here as if I'm laying on the ground and I am pushing and doing exactly the same thing, but then from this position. So it's the same with having my arms back and then swing it and then stretching. So everything is exactly the same, except that I'm now going to be 90 degrees turned. Whee! I want to warn the complete beginners who are going to do this, because if you're starting to carve, there's this one dangerous thing, which I already touched on a little bit, is if once you cross the line here, you should really stand in a skating position and you should never skate anymore. But beginners sometimes forget this when they go down from a carve. In the beginning it goes all nice and well and you go up, but then beginners they turn away too quickly and then you kind of like get a whiplash like that. I'm doing a lot of lessons and I'm seeing this time and time again. I have to warn people time and time again. Kind of like it goes automatically that you then fall backwards, okay? So especially if you're just doing your first carve, which should look something like this. All right, try to stay low. You want to have the same angle of going out of the carve that you're entering the carve in. So this is a really good first thing that you should practice. It's just carving a little bit. And then here it goes up again. That's all good. Now we're also switching a little bit more from the rock star falling technique to the mermaid falling technique. And I am an expert in the mermaid. If you want to learn the mermaid technique, we have a video about the mermaid technique. Because now I'm definitely not going to fall rock star anymore, because we're kind of like pumping and carving and all these movements are more fluent. So if I would fall with this, I would fall like that. And I wouldn't fall like on my knees with where I need these big knee pads. I would fall kind of like on the side and on my hip, and that's all good. I got this, okay? If you want to have this as well, check out the mermaid falling technique video. So you learned carving first, just play around. And now we dip and then we go up again, okay? But be sure to not go up into a too steep angle. So if you go up like this, you're gonna break and then it's gonna be super complicated. So if you're ever finding yourself in a situation like this, what I'm gonna show you now, first you do a carve, then you dip into the corner and then you go up too high. Just mermaid down, okay? Then you're safe. You really want to be mermaid ready. Be prepared to do the mermaid. This is kind of like the first thing that you should do if you find yourself in a pull corner. Carve, up, turn, and turn. Okay. Then the goal is to stay perpendicular to this line. So as a first test, I'm just gonna have 2 feet over the line and I'm gonna try to have my foot at the same distance of that line for the complete run. So I get some speed. All right, now I'm gonna make a sharp turn, same distance, same distance. And then the challenge is to increase the distance step by step by step. So now I'm gonna need some more speed. Actually, it's easier if you go faster. Sharp turn, sharp turn. Right. What you see a lot of beginners do is they'll stand wide with this, but you should just stand narrow with your legs, not too wide. Doesn't work if you're too wide. So I don't want to have to like have one leg here and one leg there. That's not pool carving. That's not how that works. So just build this up. This is your new therapy. Spend a day doing this. It's fun. Get higher and higher every time. And the way to do it is also to go faster. And maybe it's scary in the beginning, but you'll notice pretty quickly that it's actually quite okay, especially if you're mermaid ready, if you're prepared to do the mermaid, you're gonna be fine. Go a little bit faster, and then, yeah. Now we're gonna get into it. Okay, so we're moving on to where like the corner is like a 90-degree corner to where I'm gonna be a little bit higher, and the corner is actually gonna be a transition. It's gonna have a radius. And there I can do exactly the same thing. Prepare, have my hands in the back, and then swing my arms and stretch through the corners. Okay, I'm gonna do it twice. 1 corner, 2 corner, 2 times stretch, and in the middle I'm gonna bend and prepare for the next corner again. All right, prepare, push, get down, push. Woo. There we go. Now it's gonna get interesting. Get faster and faster every time. Woohoo! Yeah, yeah. Haha! This feels so good. Just have to build it up gradually. Yeah! So now a little explanation. Unfortunately, I don't have a pump track here, but let's say, this is perfect. Let's say the pump track has use like this, and it has a radius like this. So this is a pump track, it goes down and it goes up. But whenever the ground is like this is one big push. From where the ground relatively to you goes up. So if you dive in the pump track, you should start bend and then stretch all the way until you reach this part, and then you should be all the way stretched. So over the bump of the pump track, you should bend, and then you reach the next part again, you're bent, and then you stretch again. And whenever you stretch, you swing as well. It's also a matter of timing. So if you struggle with timing, start with swinging your arms and then work on your legs later. Next topic is called anti-pumping, counter-pumping. Maybe we should call it counter-pumping. Then we're gonna do pushing while dropping in, pushing while dropping out, and pushing in an air, dealing with air situations. Exactly the same thing that you can do to gain speed, you can actually do to slow speed. And that's super important part of aggressive inline skating, and kind of like throttling your exact speed, especially if you want to get into grinds. You should know exactly to also brake at the last moment. And you do this with a counter push. Let me show you how it goes. We start hands up, stretch, and then if we hit the transition, we just let ourselves drop, and with both the body and the arms, and you'll see my speed being absorbed. Whoosh. If I do the same in the back, whoosh. Ha. I went so slow that I sat down. Hoots. Okay. Hoots. Okay. Let me show it to you with high speed. Fast, and then slow down as quickly as I can. Super important skill to master. Try it. Next topic is dropping in the quarter pipe. Dropping in the quarter pipe has 3 phases. 1, you step onto the coping. 2, you turn to be horizontal, and then you drop in. So the push only comes once you are actually on this part of the quarter pipe. And a common mistake is that people start pushing when they're here, but as long as you're just turning here, nothing is happening. If you can push everything you want, but that doesn't do anything. So we actually use this part to get down and to prepare to stretch when we go down. First, I'm going to show you how the push is. Then I'm going to show you how you get down here, and then I'm going to show you what you should do when you step onto the coping. Okay. Now I'm going to show you that I first make myself tall, then I get down, and then I push. Now let's move on to the first step, what you do before you drop in. This is more advanced part. If you're like new to aggressive skating, you're probably not ready for this yet. So you start actually behind the coping. The distance that I should take is, I'm gonna put my foot on it and then take a step back. That way I know exactly what the distance is. When I step on it, I'm gonna jump up, and as soon as I go, I get down and then I push. So it's up, down, push. Up, down, push. You will not get this in first try, so just build it up really gradually in like small steps. This is going to be your new therapy. Spend a day doing it, because you're not going to do it first try. This all needs like a lot of repetitions. And it's fun, just play around with it, explore it, take gradual steps. All right, next step is dropping out. All right, the best way to learn to drop out is at a really small quarter pipe. And at first, it will be hard for you to channel your speed. You actually need the counter push that we showed before to eventually really like throttle your speed a little bit. But at the beginning, I wouldn't worry about that. I would just worry about you getting behind the coping and landing here and being safe. I would do a quarter turn if I were you. So focus on having your 2 foot parallel behind the coping. Probably you're gonna land really far behind the coping, and later gradually you can, every try you do it, land closer to the coping. It's really hard to get on it. At first you're gonna be afraid of the coping, but you can just ride over it like I showed you before. In your approach, you should really use your arms, and then to make it easier, you can swing one leg. Just kick your leg up. The first time I would just focus on getting up, and then later you can experiment a little bit with that leg and also with your arms.
So I gotta stand behind the coping, get tall, then I go low again, and then once I've hit that spot, I'll make myself tall again. And these water bottles are gonna make it a bit heavier for me. Okay, let's try it. Never done it. Whoa! You gained way more speed. That's for sure. On a big ramp like this, you can like feel it, how it makes everything bigger. And I didn't expect to go like that fast. So I actually went back a little bit. Let me try one more. Stand behind it. Oh, it's actually... All right. Toe, back and up. You definitely feel the difference. That was weird.
Yeah. So you notice that you're actually going faster.
Yeah.
And you notice that you feel the technique more, so you're more conscious about the technique.
I know, of course, how to push.
Yeah.
But I don't stand still on how to push.
Yeah.
And this makes me like pretty conscious on how I'm pushing.
Yeah.
And how I use my arms.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're gonna notice it later when you're gonna do it without the water bottles.
Yeah.
And you're gonna put more emphasis on this movement. You're gonna make this movement bigger. That you're also gonna get like kind of like the same speed out of it. Maybe not the same, but now you're more conscious about it.
Exactly.
I think you're gonna be better at pushing with using your arms.
Probably. Maybe I should like skate competition with these water bottles in my hand.
I think it's gonna work. I had the same for skiing. I spent like a couple days skiing like everybody, and then you do parallel slides basically the whole day.
Yep.
And then because I learned it on skis, I can now parallel slide on my inline skates better, because I'm suddenly really conscious on that you need to pressure on your further away foot.
Yep.
And retract your other foot. And I didn't really do that before in inline skates, but now I know it. So I think it's the same with the water bottles, that because you do it suddenly and there's now more emphasis on it, you're like, now it clicks, and then you can do it also without.
Yeah, so even when you're a good skater, just try it out. And
Yeah.
I think it's gonna help.
Thank you, Jaro, and thank you guys for watching the entire video. Hope you guys learned something. We're gonna do a basics of aggressive inline skating video every week now, so follow the channel if you want to get a notification for the next one. We make a new video every week, so also subscribe and drop something in the comments if you want to say hi. All right, see you guys in the next one.
You better be there.